friends. Welcome to this week's Make and Take. I'm doing videos slightly differently now because my friend Caitlin, who helps me here at the shop with social media, told me so many amazing tips to make this a lot easier and so much easier for you guys to see. So here we go. This week we are making the cutest thing freaking ever. Let's get started. Okay, so this is the cute little tiny breakfast, tiny cereal craft. Isn't this so adorable? So we have our little spoon. This is like our little Fruit Loops cereal. This kind of tucks in there. We have our toast, which is actually fuzzy from using suede paper, and tiny little orange slices, and there's even a napkin. And then check this out, even the countertop looks like linoleum tile. It's so cute. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here, friends. All right, so in our little kit, we're going to open up all these little bits, boop, 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 all these little Fruit Loops. Now, if you're working on this craft or you're watching this craft and you're like, I want to make my own cereal, please feel free to do so. Just because I use Fruit Loops doesn't mean that you have to use Fruit Loops. You could make, Rice Krispies, or you could do Cinnamon Toast Crunch or Cheerios or whatever makes your heart happy. Okay, so in your kit, you're going to see this cute little spoon and also this metallic paper here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to take my scissors. I'm going to trim off some of this excess silver. I'm not going to fully cut out the spoon quite yet, and you're going to see why here in just a minute. All right, so I got my glue. Okay, so we're going to take this mirror card paper, this shiny stuff, flip it over so that it's just the white part showing. Then we're going to take our spoon and flip that over and put glue on the back side on the silver part only. Boop, 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 boop. I like to make little sound effects because that's just who I am. So now I'm going to stick the spoon onto this paper like so. So then that way the back side of it is metallic like an actual spoon. Now I'm going to fussy cut that. You want to make sure this is fully dry. The glue I'm using dries right away. The glue you might be using might take a little bit longer to dry. So if that's the case, you might want to set that to the side and come back to it. So I'm going to go ahead and just fussy cut this now. And if you hear me use this word fussy cut and you're like, what does that mean? It just means to cut out. All right, so we're just gonna cut out our cute little spoon shape here. Yay, so adorable. Oh my gosh, so cute. Okay, all right, so the next thing I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna make all of my breakfast elements, right? All of my, like the toast and the oranges and the cereal, we're gonna do all of it. Okay, so this next part I'm gonna work on is gonna be the toast. So you're gonna see this piece of paper, it has kind of a toast shape stenciled on the back. We're gonna take that guy and we're gonna cut it out. So you can use this guide here for cutting out your piece of toast. Or I guess if you don't like toast, you could say it's just a piece of bread. Doesn't really matter. It's bread / toast shaped. Okay. All right, it doesn't need to be perfect. That's all right. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take this guy and we're going to put it on top of the brown. So I'm going to put some glue on the back side of that now. I don't need a lot of glue, but you want to have it to be enough that you can see it. That's usually all you really need. I'm going to stick that down in the center of my dark brown cardstock. And now I'm going to take my scissors and cut out, so giving it like a little bit of a halo. I'm sure you figured this out. The dark brown is the crust of our toast. So after you cut this out, you can decide if you want to cut it in half to make it like 2 slices of toast, or if you want to leave it as one full entire slice, but that's totally up to you. When it comes to adding a little extra element, I like to add a little texture onto my toast, which is a texture, like I might add like a large dot and a few smaller dots, and that just makes it look a little bit less stark and a little bit more complete. Those black dots could be seasoning. You could even cut out little yellow pieces of paper and add like little butter onto your toast or jam. That would be really cute. This is totally up to you what you'd like to do there. All right, so we have our spoon and we have our toast. I'm gonna set those things to the side and come back to that. All right, so now we are going to talk about the bowl, which is a little bit confusing, so we're going to roll with this together. What we're going to do is we're going to cut out a quarter of the pie. Okay, that's what I usually tell people. So if you consider this to be a pie, a quarter of it. So what we do is we cut from the edge to the center, and then we find what a quarter of that would be. So a quarter would be half of a half, right? And so then we're going to cut that right here. All right, so you end up with this shape like this. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to put glue, white glue, only on one side here. All right, and I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to kind of just wrap it so it's kind of cone shaped. I know there's some glue down here, but we're not really going to see this part, so it doesn't really matter. But we want this to stick really good. So my glue dries right away. If your glue takes a little bit longer to dry, you might need to maybe put a paper clip on there until it's fully dry and then come back to it. I know mine's going to dry pretty fast, so I'm just going to hold on to that. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So once your cone is dry and it's ready to go, this is where it gets a little strange, okay? I'm just warning you, it's a little funky. What we're going to do is you're going to take this, cone side is touching the counter, and you go like this, boop. We're going to kind of press down, even pressure all the way around. I'm kind of moving it in kind of a circle. And I know that just seems crazy sauce, but it actually inverted that point into the inside of the bowl. And that looks like a cereal bowl. Isn't that so fun and so silly and so weird? All right, now we're going to take this piece of paper here. This piece of paper is a white piece of strip. We're just going to take this and crinkle it up. You can use copy paper if you want. But I just want to crinkle it up, but then kind of, I'm going to crinkle it, but also flatten it. All right, we want this to sit inside the bowl. This is going to make it look, this is like going to be like the milk of the bowl, but we actually have the circle that's going to go on top of it after. So this is going to be the crinkly part that's going to be the milk. All right, now we're going to use hot glue here. I'm going to put hot glue kind of around the side and along the bottom. So when I stick this in here, it actually wants to stay in place. You do need hot glue. I don't recommend using white glue. And the reason why using white glue, it's just, it takes a lot longer to dry. You need a lot more of it. And then it's not sticking in place and you're not getting that immediate satisfaction. All right, so I'm going to move my little guys out of the way here while I bring in my little glue holster. All right, so I'm going to put in some hot glue here. Hopefully you plugged in your hot glue gun already, but if not, you might need to pause the video and go plug it in. All right, I'm going to take my little milk and put that down there. Ooh, that's a little warm. Make sure you don't burn yourself. All right, now we're going to take this guy. This is the milk that sits on top, and that's going to go right on top like that. So obviously my hot glue is probably not wet at this point. So I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue kind of on the sides. Just a little bit. Again, make sure you don't burn yourself. And then we're just going to set that in there. Okay. All right. We kind of might want to make it look like the bowl is like full of milk. All right. So that's kind of what we're going for. It doesn't need to be perfect. So if it's not perfect, it's okay. It's okay. This is a craft. It's supposed to be fun and silly. All right. Okay. So, I mean, I'd say it's pretty good. I guess I could put a little bit of glue over here because I didn't put it in the right spot. There we go. Hey, that looks pretty good. That one part's bothering me, but I'll fix that with the spoon later. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, so we have our bowl, we have our spoon, we have our bread, or toast, I guess. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna work on our oranges. Okay, so the oranges are gonna be all of these pieces here, these like round circles. So not the Fruit Loops part. All right, now the lighter oranges have this little score line in the center. That's for folding, so you just go ahead and fold that over. Boop, boop. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put some glue right in the center of that. I'm going to take my dark orange, I'm going to fold that in half. Now I'm going to kind of line these up so the glue is going down on top of that other one. And as I set those down, they're not matching up perfectly. They're just kind of offset just ever so slightly. See what I say when I say offset? It just doesn't match up perfect. And that's because I want there to be the darker orange along the bottom to kind of make it look like an actual orange slice. Yes. All right, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And this guy here. There we go. All right, then we're gonna take this guy. Just gonna flip on over. There we are. There we go. Okay. All right, so the next thing we're gonna need is an orange marker. And I just realized that I forgot my orange marker, so I gotta go grab it. Hold on, bear with me, friends. Okay, so this is a Caron brush tip marker. It's just oh, this is an orange-red color, but you can use orange. Any orange pen is fine. But the brush tip is great because it has this point on it, which is so fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to take this. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. And I'm going to go like this. Bloop. Oh gosh. Bloop. Bloop. See? And see how that kind of looks like an orange? Isn't that cool? I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And it's okay if it's not perfect. And if you don't have a large, orange marker, that's totally fine. You can just use an orange pen. Or if you have a little bit of like orange paint, you could also use orange paint. We just want to make it look kind of like an orange. All right. Okay. Once those are down, you're going to use a white gel pen. Now, if you don't have a white gel pen, that's okay. Again, you can use white acrylic paint if you wanted to. I just liked having a little bit of a white gel pen because it makes it look like the orange slice is wet, like it was just sliced. Oh, yes. I love that. Oh my gosh. I know it's kind of hard to see there, but oh, so cool. All right, we're gonna do the same thing over here. Again, just a little bit of a white gel pen. Just a little bit. All right, and this orange slice is the same situation. I'm just doing like a couple like little dots. It doesn't need to be perfect. Normally I have a different white gel pen I like to use, but it's over on the other craft table right now, so I'm using this one here. Oh goodness. Come on, white gel pen. Roll with me. Ha, roll. Roll with me. Sorry guys, bear with me here for just a second. Okay. That's at least a little bit better. All right. Okay. All right. So once you have your little texture on your oranges to make it look like it's just been sliced. All right. So we have our orange slices. Okay. So now it's time to start building our breakfast. So I'm going to use the back side of this so you can actually see what I'm doing here. Okay. So this is going to be the linoleum. Yes. Oh my gosh. Fantastic. So I'm going to make this a little bit easier. Here we go. All right. Okay, so we have our little linoleum here, our linoleum countertop. All right, so we're going to have our cereals going to go in here. So in order to do this, I need to kind of prepare all of my Fruit Loops. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take my white glue and kind of put it all over the place. You know, you don't need like a ton of glue, but I'm going to put like some dots kind of all around. And then when it comes to placing cereal Fruit Loops, especially because we have so many different colors here, instead of individually placing them down, I'm actually going to recommend just kind of sprinkling them. And when you sprinkle them down and kind of move them around, they actually kind of land random, which is fantastic because that's what we're going for. We want it to be kind of a random assortment. We don't want all the colors to land in the same spot. And you can kind of shake that around until all of the Fruit Loops stick onto some glue. Now, if you happen to have any glitter, you can add a little bit of glitter at this time, and that will stick onto the white glue that's there. If you do not have any glitter, or you happen to have glitter glue, which is of course what I am going to use, I'm going to use Stickles is the brand of glitter glue that I'm using. But you want to add a little bit of glitter, and that is going to make it look like the sugar on top of the Fruit Loops. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Now I'm not using a ton, but I want to make it at least look a little bit shiny. Oh my gosh. And if you are watching this and you are thinking that glitter glue is an actual glue, I hate to break it to you. Glitter glue is not glue. I don't know why companies call it that. But it's just glitter that's like a wet glitter. It's actually in a clear like substance and a clear medium. So now you know. I love that the spoon tucks into the side. Oh, yes, so cute. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, I missed a little Fruit Loop there. Okay, so now it's time to put our scene together. So I definitely am going to recommend using hot glue for gluing the cereal bowl down. Once you have the cereal bowl in place, then you can use white glue to glue everything else down, okay? So I'm going to take out my spoon here so that way I can get to this. I'm going to put hot glue in the bottom of my bowl here. I'm going to stick that down. Oh, little Fruit Loop, get back in there. I'll put that over there instead. All right, and I have my little spoon. We'll tuck that in there. So cute. All right, and then on the right-hand side here is where I'm going to put everything else. Okay. Oh, goodness. All right. Okay, so I have our little napkins. It's actually a piece of paper towel. I'm going to fold that. So that's going to go on the side here. Again, just going to use white glue on the back side of that so that can just stick in place. And then glue that down a little bit on the other side. And then of course my little toast. Oh my goodness, so cute. I appear to have misplaced an orange slice. There it is. All right, okay, so my little toast, it's going to kind of go off to the side here on the napkin just slightly. And then, of course, with the little orange slices, I'm going to actually glue the orange slices onto the paper towel. So you can use hot glue or white glue for this. I'm actually just going to use white glue right on the edges there. And then I'm just going to stick those down right on the paper towel, and it glues almost immediately, which is fantastic. All right, friends, and there we have super cute, tiny little cereal craft. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's so adorable. Ah! Love, 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 love. All right, I hope you guys had lots of fun. And as a quick reminder, if you're watching this video and you do not know, we do have kits available for all of our make and takes, and those are available on our website, artandhappiness.net. All right, friends, hope you have a happy day. We'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.